Wood. Thorman captains the side at standoff, and it's Paul March, the scrum half. Up front, Big Wayne McDonald, Drew and Gannon, Crabtree, Smith and Stanley Jean is at loose forward. And on the bench, Stuart Jones, John Gratian, Paul White and Paul Jackson. The coach is John Sharp. Now the men from Warrington, Brent Gross, the fullback, Farfili with 20 tries to his name this year, Gleeson, that's Martin Gleeson, Coe Love and Chris Riley, the 17-year-old on his debut. Chris Bridge operates alongside Nathan Wood, who captains the side at scrum half. The forwards, Likefall, Clark and Hilton, Swan, Wainwright and Westwood. And on the bench, Noon, Mark Gleeson, Paul Wood and Danny Lima. And the coach, of course, is Paul Cullen. Well, they beat Huddersfield at home in March, 14 points to 8. And it's Warrington who will get this game underway, attacking from right to left as we watch in the all-white kit. Too close to call. We're underway, and Paul Riley gets his first touch for the Huddersfield Giants after, well, 3 matches out with suspension. And this now is Huddersfield driving the ball forward in the shape of Paul Smith, and Wayne McDonald will continue the movement going for Huddersfield. Penalty! And this has been Warrington's downfall in recent weeks. They have been very indisciplined around the ruck and at the play of the ball, and Ashley Klein pinging them in the opening half minute.
Well, it's a silly penalty, and as you say, Eddie, it has just been continual throughout this season. Paul Cullen, the coach, must be, well, pulling his hair in. How on earth can he just try to get it through to his forwards? Especially Likewell, Mark Hilton. They've been giving them away all year.
John Sharp, the Huddersfield coach, seeking a 30th victory as a first-grade coach here tonight. John Clark and Gleeson doing the tackling on Brad Drew. And here goes Big Wayne McDonald. And McDonald gets the offload. It went to ground, but Riley keeps hold of the ball for Huddersfield. And they are in! Huddersfield get their first try of the night. And Warrington are made to pay for indiscipline in the opening minute yet again. His 150th appearance for Huddersfield, the England international, Paul Riley with the first try.
Great work from the big fellas, and it came from an offload as well. Penalty was given, and it was the same man, McDonald, who offloaded there. This defence is nothing short of shocking. Look at them hanging off. 4-5 went for the big fella, and they just stood around. Westwood took the dummy. Riley said, I'll take the 4. The Giants are happy. He's a big man, but they've got to get to him. And the man who's come back from suspension, he loved that. Puts his body on the line. Paul Cullen absolutely stunned.
Thorman with the chance then from bang in front. The captain does not miss those. He heads the Huddersfield try, goals and point sharks. That's 2 more to him. 6-0 to the Huddersfield Giants. And Riley sent off against Lee. A try here against Warrington in June. The happy days are back for Paul Riley.
Certainly are. Really is a great player. Tough competitor. Gives it to the opposition. Don't worry about that. He won't hang back, even though he's coming back from a suspension.
Well, the worst possible start for Warrington.
Well, they've got to get themselves sorted out. Paul Cullen, you can see he was on the walkie-talkie, just telling the forwards. Likeful, silly penalty to give away so early. You kick off, put them in a position, just give them a gift.
That was Heppin O'Hare. And Huddersfield are ahead by 6 points to 0, and Warrington have not had ball in hand yet. Here goes James Evans, and there's a hole there. Oh, Coe Love had his back to the play. Drew's inside him, and Drew's going to score for Huddersfield. What a start for the Giants. Paul Cullen, well, his face tells its own story. What on earth was the Warrington defence doing there? Coe Love questioning something with the match referee, Mr. Klein. And Paul Cullen will be questioning him when he gets him into the dressing rooms at half-time. What on earth happened to Warrington there?
Unbelievable, they're just shut down. This is pathetic. Evans just said, how on earth have I got through? The support was there, as all hookers should do. Brad Drew, the Australian, quite happy, sets it off. Look at that. It's shocking. Koilov, you don't talk to the referee and say, we should have got a penalty, sir. You get on with the job that you're paid to do. That was shocking. This is ridiculous. He puts it out and then he pulls through. What on earth is he doing? I'm talking to the referee. Evans says, I'm passing you. The try is always on the cards. This is an international. Koilov.
Steve, I think what had happened, I think the referee was shouting to Koilov and his fellow colleague to say, you're offside, stay out of the action, by which time it was too late. Huddersfield through the gap, further try.
You don't turn your back on the opposition. Irrespective of what's going on around you, you keep your eye on the football. And I'm talking about schoolboy standard here. They listen, always keep your eye on the ball. This is professionally. That wasn't.
Well, it's a wonderful start for Huddersfield. It's a horror start for the Warrington Wolves. And you might have noticed that Thorman missed with the conversion, so that's why it's 10-0. And still, Warrington have not had ball in hand, and we're in the 6th minute of this match. Here is Chris Thorman. This now is Earl Crabtree. Well, Dave Hadfield, man of the match, give it to someone from Huddersfield, eh?
It's shaping up a bit that way after that very good win for Huddersfield at Wakefield last week, where people told me that they'd never seen Chris Thorman play as well as he had done that night. Another name that stands out, Paul Smith, is second rower, is highly rated. He has signed a new 2-year contract this week. Warrington have started abominably, but they weren't incisive enough last week either. Lee Breer's still missing tonight, so Nathan Wood and Chris Bridge, they need to improve things in that area. Ben Westwood, there's a player who might be starting to feel that he's got a bit of a chance to get it into the Great Britain squad. He's been all over the place for Warrington this season, but he's probably in his best position of loose forward tonight.
For Warrington for the first time with ball in hand, and this is Chris Bridge. And, well, they've got plenty of time to put things right, Warrington, and they're trying to do that now in the shape of Mark Hilton.
Well, they can do that with ball in hand, but they've got to get themselves sorted out in the defensive quality. It is nothing short of poor.
This is Wainwright, here is Toa Koilov. And Koilov takes the tackle from James Evans. This is the last one for Warrington. Ball to ground. Wood, well, he's made something out of nothing there. And Wood dabs the ball forward. Riley has it. Gross was after it. And Riley clears up the danger for the Huddersfield Giants.
Well, a poor pass. They really should have been kicking right into the corner. Good kick and chase. They're falling down on the basics to Warrington.
Here's Stanley Jean for Huddersfield. I think we ought to talk to John Keir. This is not the start that we thought. We didn't think it'd be 10-0 to anyone so early.
No, it's been a great start by the Huddersfield Giants. Interestingly, Earl Crabtree this week is playing on the right-hand side, and they really are targeting the left side of the Warrington defence, where Nat Wood and Toa Koilov are defending.
Knock on here against Stanley Jean.
Well, that'll be a big relief for the Warrington side. They've got to get themselves back into this game. You know, just put it to one side, the 10-0 down. He'll be happy. John Sharp.
Stephen, we're very often your coaches talking about their team having the momentum, really. The momentum, obviously, in the beginning of this game, totally behind the Huddersfield Giants. But I suppose, John, the important part is when you have momentum behind you, you need to register some points on the board.
Exactly right. Just as Warrington had it in the early part last week against St Helens, didn't score. Huddersfield have posted points on the scoreboard, but there's a heck of a long way to go, and 10 points in the modern day, 2 scores, it can happen in the blink of an eye.
Warrington would be hoping that as Westwood drives the ball forward here for them, tackled by Drew and McDonald, and Lightfall will power it forward again, but good tackling by Earl Crabtree and Jim Gannon. Now it's with Mark Hilton. Hilton to Wood, good hands from Nathan Wood. He finds Brent Gross, but the trap was sprung by Brad Drew. John Clark waits at dummy half.
Just a bit shallow with Brent Gross there.
Nathan Wood in towards Heffin O'Hare. The Welsh international does well.
Well, this is where they've got to try to pin them down.
Here's Paul Riley again.
Nowhere to go, and that's could have been a second effort from Ben Westwood.
Thorman and Crabtree.
That's better. And the man over the top, number 4, Toa Koilov, he really has got to shine now.
Wayne McDonald driving forward once again. Much better defence here from Warrington. There's 4 tackles gone. Gannon goes down on tackle number 5. 31 metres made. It's with Thorman. And Thorman with the big hoof downfield. A good kick as well. because Farfili has to retreat almost to his own post before he drives the ball forward, gets as far as Gannon, and also there was Paul March.
Good kick and chase there. There was no less than 9 Huddersfield shirts following that kick through, and in one straight line as well.
That looked as though it might have drifted forward to Ben Westwood. Nathan Wood dummy half. Here comes Mark Hilton again.
That's what has been most effective as a loose forward, Ben Westwood, since his switch from the 3/4 into the forwards, is running that very short blind side from the dummy half.
There's a fair contingent of Warrington supporters inside the stadium tonight. It's very, very quiet on the left-hand side of this ground just now. And that is a drive forward by Lee Greenwood, signed from London last month. Now it's Heffin O'Hare.
Well, not surprising that Huddersfield are targeting the left-hand side of Warrington with the youngster Chris Riley. Look at his debut. You can see him just coming out of picture there. There's not much of him. He's not the biggest fella.
And that was a charge down. Oh, and this is going to be head and feet, I think, to Huddersfield. Young Chris Riley allowed the ball to go over the line, and the referee indicates that it is going to be head and feet to Huddersfield at the scrum.
Well, I'm not so sure that he went for it. He raised the arms, didn't he, Westwood? But to me, that appeared as though the ball played the man. Yes, run up. Maybe it was classified of it, but inexperience there from young Riley. Could have picked up the ball there, but pretty hard.
Eddie, this is a great test of character here for Warrington now. Under pressure, haven't had much possession. A little bit of lady luck going against them there, you'd have to say, with that charge down there. Sometimes they go in your favour, but they really are under pressure here. They mustn't concede.
Saints and Wakefield 0-0 after 10 minutes. It's a bit of a change here. It's 10-0 to Huddersfield. We're in the 11th minute, and Foreman slides the kick through. It was a tester for Riley, and the youngster, well, he did well in the end.
Boy, the nerves would have been jangling right the way through his fingertips there. He got to it in the end. He was pretty quick to get back. He read it well. Neat little kick through, though, by Thorman. Under a lot of pressure by James Evans.
Yes, Evans was hunting any mistake. James Evans, just 4 appearances alongside Michael De Vere.
Double touch.
And Chris Bridges' pass wide finds its way to the touchline.
Well, that's about handling pressure, isn't it, there? Inside their own half, they've tried to pass the way out of trouble. In the previous 2 sets, they played very, very simple and got to the kick. But this just mounts and adds to their own problems.
Very much so, because this scrum forms midway inside the Warrington half.
He needs a big game, this fella, Chris Bridge. He's got to show his authority there.
Thorman tries to step inside. Good tackling by Brent Gross. Plays the ball to Paul March. Here is Wayne McDonald. He's put on his back by Mark Hilton and Gross. Now it's Stanley Jean. Always dangerous when this fella's on the field for Huddersfield, for any opposition. Quick play the ball too to Drew. Here is Thorman. And Thorman taking them on his own. There were runners left and right then for him. Riley waits at dummy half. Back it comes to Brad Drew. He finds Earl Crabtree. Oh, it's easy. The defence was nowhere. And Crabtree scores the 3rd Huddersfield try. And Paul Cullen has a mini crisis on his hands here.
Never mind mini, major. The defence has gone wanting yet again. I cannot believe it. Straight into touch there. A shocker, wasn't it? They are really under the cosh. But this is just simple play, isn't it? I mean, Drew just did the slight dummy, rolled it across his body, and then offloaded onto the big fella. In no man's land. Coelho, Nathan Wood, you take it. Nobody did. Crabtree has absolutely strolled over. It is so simple. They are not in the hunt, Warrington.
And Chris Thorman here to add the extras, but he has missed, which Warrington will be grateful of. They gave St Helens an 18-0 lead by half-time last week. It's 14-0 here to the Huddersfield Giants, and Warrington with an awful lot to do. Earl Crabtree in the Great Britain squad. one of the big improvers of 2005, and he has made it 14-0 to the Giants.
So what do you hope in that situation that what if you were the Warrington coach? Your players are talking about behind the post. You've had a bad start, 14-0 down. What do you want them to focus on?
Well, basically, you've got to look at the next set of six. It's got to be a very accomplished, aggressive set of six in defence. And then when you've got the football in hand, it's got to be a tight set, finishing with a kick, just to get yourself, play yourself back into the game, Phil.
This is Heffin O'Hare. And Wood and Chris Riley getting him down. Crabtree spins the ball to Wayne McDonald.
I made the point, Eddie, before the kick-off, is that Warrington do really miss Lee Breers, don't they? He's a man that makes them tick, and I'm afraid that with a start like this, I really just can't see them getting back into it.
And six to go with Thorman.
Oh, he's blown it.
And the referee says play on again, does he?
No, it's a knock-on.
O'Hare has missed it anyway. It is a knock-on.
Well, he had 3-on-1 yet again.
Well, it was a glorious opportunity then for Huddersfield, wasn't it?
It certainly was. Brad drew the hooker, just a little dink through. And there's no one at home, really. They are all at sea in this defensive pattern. And again, they work this right-hand side into attack on towards the youngster Chris Riley's wing.
Well, Warrington need to respond quickly. St Helens ahead at against Wakefield at home, 6-0. So they're on course to take over from Leeds at the top of the table. But, well, Hull will be... John Keir, you'll be delighted with this start, won't you?
Well, we are as regards the whole team here. We're absolutely delighted, because if it stays like this, it gives a great chance on Sunday against Leigh. But there's a long, long time to go yet, Eddie, and a game of rugby league has many twists and turns. Also, I'm sure that you'll see many tonight.
Big hit there on Mark Hilton. He's feeling the effect as well.
Nathan Wood will attack the line. And Wood has the last tackle.
It needs something special from Warrington. They've got to get themselves sparked. Oh, they won't do with that.
John Clark with the knock-on. Well, he has invested in Andrew Johns to come with 2 of the weekly rounds remaining, but will the game be over for Warrington by the time Andrew Johns steps off the plane?
Well, if they play like that, yeah, you'd have to say so. We made the point, you know, was it good for team spirit to bring over Andrew John? We know he's a great quality player, but they know that there's an import has to be shipped out. What does that do for the team spirit? And I've got to be honest with you, they don't look as though they're playing as a team, Warrington. Can you say that this side is on 3rd in the position on the table? No way.
Oh, great work again, great feet. And Bridge could have been penalised then for another snap at Nero. Huddersfield are flooding forward. It's Thorman. Crabtree's after another. And Gross gets the ball eventually. Oh, and flicks it away. Wow, that was pretty good. But that is going to be a penalty. Young Chris Riley
wonderful
over
work.
the line.
Wonderful work from Chris Riley. That was absolutely superb. Gross knew he was in a lot of bother, but look how the winger had just put him. That is excellent stuff. No doubt about it, his momentum had stopped.
That's probably worth 6 points to Warrington cause at the moment, Steve.
Yep.
To get back in the field of play, prevent a goal line dropout. They did look rattled, didn't they, at that point?
And from a guy who's got no experience whatsoever in young Chris Riley.
Let's take a bow, Chris Riley, 17 years of age, the young man wearing 28 tonight. He is a Lancashire Academy representative. And credit also Brent Gross with the pass. He took the gamble, it came off. A drive in here now by the substitute for Warrington. It's Paul Wood. He plays the ball to John Clark. Here is Nathan Wood. And Ben Westwood saw a hole. That's the last tackle. Nathan Wood. Nathan Wood will float the kick out wide, looking for Henry Farfili. Henry Farfili flicks it back. And Logan Swan flicks it further back to Gross. The ball went backwards. It's still on the last. Here is Chris Bridge. There's the kick downfield, and that's to nothing.
Oh, it's turned out a good one, though.
There was no one on side. It had to be Chris Bridge who was chasing it, and he does with Gleeson. He gets everybody on side.
Well, that'll lift Warrington. They certainly needed something. And that's much better defence. You can see they're a lot more tenacious, moving as a unit.
Well, Paul Cullen has got a face like thunder. What's it like on the Warrington bench? Bill Arthur. It's not quite so thunderous down here. I have to say that the Warrington fans, who normally really do make themselves heard, are very subdued so far. But down on the Warrington bench, they're not panicking yet. There are some concerned faces, certainly concerned when Mark Hilton had to come off. That wasn't exactly the plan, that he should be replaced by Paul Wood, but Hilton's gone to the dressing room, seems to have got a bang on the head, but they know from that set of 6, that was a positive set of 6 for Warrington. First decent set of 6 in the game. Put a few of those together and they might be able to do something about this scoreline. Here's a man who can respond, Brent Gross. Good chasing though by Paul Jackson, highly rated by his coach John Sharp. And Riley, he's gained in confidence, the young man, after that good work to get the ball out of the in-goal area.
Pretty solid defence though. They pick it up, they know that the one man is going on the angle, then they're just offloading what we classify as a flat pass, but the Giants have got it really worked out.
It's with Chris Bridge, and here is Martin Gleeson, goes round Nero, flicks the ball to Farfili, inside it comes to Logan Swan, and then Bridge to Westwood. Warrington just standing still though, and Westwood gets the ball away to Nathan Wood, on it goes to Wainwright, and Heffin O'Hare does well. Now John Clark, Nathan Wood, off the chest of Brent Gross, and I think it's going to be a knock-on against Huddersfield here. It is. That's a relieving call from touch judge and referee for the Warrington Wolves.
Well, he's deemed that Crabtree's got a fingertip to it. Only just. It's a big call from the Australian referee, Ashley Klein.
Brent Gross immediately asked the referee for 6 more. And this is a problem for Brad Drew. John Keir.
Yeah, well, you talk about momentum changes, Eddie. There's been 2 little pieces of play, one by Brent Gross and the youngster Riley, that got them back in the field of play in a good set of 6. And then there's a little referee's call there that's been fortuitous for the Wolves. So maybe that'll be a turning point of the game.
And maybe it will be, because Gleeson is over for the try. Martin Gleeson for Warrington. He scored against his former club last week in the shape of St Helens. He's back on familiar territory tonight here in Huddersfield. And Martin Gleeson up against his former club. He's just notched try number 14 of the season. But I tell you what, in the context of this game, that is a massive play.
Yeah, they certainly needed it. Just had a little bit of lady luck. Different angle. Did Crabtree get a fingertip to this? Yes, I think he's right. Ashley Klein, what a big call, and straight from the scrum base. It isn't often you see a try scored when the half is putting the ball in the scrum, but the quality of Gleeson. Look at this, in and out, absolutely. Just went through Chris Nero as though he was not there. And they're happy. They haven't had much to shout about. Boy, whenever you need something, you can always delve deep for your better players, and Martin Gleeson certainly is.
Here's Chris Briggs to try and add the extras, and he has managed that. And so a match that looked in danger of dribbling away from them is suddenly back in Warrington's own hands. It's 14-6, and Martin Gleeson, who was in the Huddersfield team that beat Warrington here in 2001, 52 points to 10, has thrown the Wolves and Andrew Johns a lifeline.
Not only that, Eddie, I think the confidence that will go through the centre, Martin Gleeson. He's been a little bit off colour for the past few weeks. Really hasn't shown the quality that we know that he can produce. And you get a try like that, okay, a little bit of lady luck as far as the Huddersfield fans were concerned, but on that different angle, it looked as though Crabtree did just get a fingernail to it.
Yes, he definitely did. I think our pictures prove that quite conclusively. It was a good call by touch judge and referee. Saints 12 up against Wakefield. Here it's 14-6, and Westwood in possession for Warrington. Oh, and he nearly got away.
Well, he's the one man, you know, that's dragged this Warrington side back into this game. Some hard work from the loose forward Westwood.
Top 6 is what it's all about at this stage of the season. Leeds London is another huge battle in terms of that tomorrow here on Sky Sports. Riley picks up behind his own line for Huddersfield does really well.
Well, Paul Cullen won't have been too happy for the opening quarter, but that last minute will have pleased him. When you score a try, you want to complete your set, then you want a good kick, and that's exactly what Warrington have done. All of a sudden, they've got the hand on top, and this arm wrestle's going nowhere for a few minutes.
And the most important factor now, as far as Warrington are concerned, do not concede a silly penalty. Remember, it was Leichvold that gave away position. Riley scored the first try. The composure has got to be spot on.
This is Brad Drew. That's the last tackle. John Clark was standing square. Logan Swan was not. Thorman with a huge kick to test young Chris Riley, and the 17-year-old allows it to bounce and is in trouble. Oh! Well, he flicked the ball out.
Well, I think
under pressure from James Evans.
Well, to be fair, I think that he knew there was going to be safe. Well, maybe Brent Gross, being the senior player, should have taken charge of that. They were both running at the same speed for it. And not surprisingly, it was mentioned a couple of times already that this guy is going to have a busy night. So far, he's done well.
Steve, we're probably not giving enough credit to Chris Thorman. The kick was absolutely perfect, wasn't it? In between winger and fullback, just the right distance on it. And again, Chris Thorman's kicking has been vital to Huddersfield's chances of winning games this year. They rely on it both for tactical kicks for tries and for the field position it gives them.
It's now in the shape of Paul Jackson. Once again for Huddersfield, they're 20 metres out. It's with Brad Drew who finds Thorman, and Thorman gives it to Stanley Jean. The Papua New Guinea international, a real handful for any defence. Drew, infield it comes to Cannon! Oh, and Cannon was nearly through.
Again, Westwood getting through a lot of work.
Thorman, flick pass, Jean, great ball, second try, Crabtree. Great try for the Giants.
Great play. Superb stuff. Didn't come much better than that. The short offload is a hard man to stop, Stanley Jean. I don't think anybody in rugby league knows exactly how old he really is, but what an offload. Superb. Crabtree said, I'll take number 2. Try, that is. TRY on time. Brilliant stuff. That is just superb. The big fella's enjoying playing in the second row. He's no longer what we classify as a lumbering big prop forward.
Well, he's on the hat-trick already tonight. That's his second try of this first half. He's taken his personal tally to 7 for the season. And Chris Thorman here now, just one successful kick from 3, and he's missed a couple from an angle like this already tonight. Crabtree, try, and it's improved this time by Chris Thorman, and it's 20 points to 6 in Huddersfield Giants' favour. Wonderful play from Huddersfield.
Certainly was.
Jean, this is his 250th appearance in the British game. 160 tries with Hull KR, Hull and Huddersfield. Turned try provider then. You don't know how old he is? He says he's 31.
Yeah. I know a lot of rugby league players that for some unknown reason lose their memory when it gets round about the 29-year mark. John Keir was there for about 8 years.
Still is, aren't you, John?
I think Clark's got a finger in the eye, I think.
This is Crabtree again, he's having a wow again. And the referee holds up the play because I think John Clark has got a cut on the head.
I think it might have been a stray finger as well that scratched the eye.
He doesn't want to come off, does he, John Clark?
Well, I think he has to. I think there's a little bit of claret showing there. And that,
he's got to come off, my word.
Yeah.
That could be very nasty.
Yeah, let's hope he's okay. Oh, it was a clash of heads. I thought it might have been a finger.
And Logan Swan
gave him a beauty.
Second tackle.
Oh, that was a headbutt in the half.
Well, he will hope to return after a stitch or two, but young Mark Gleeson is on now. And here is Jackson once again.
Well, that's not a bad thing, you know, because I've been impressed with Mark Gleeson. Every time he's come off the bench, he's had a little bit more flair and enthusiasm to the Warrington attack.
Nero plays the ball. Here is Brad Drew, and up goes the kick again. It's a tester for Brent Gross. And Gross, ever present for Warrington this year, one of their brightest sparks in 2005.
He's had a sensational year.
so is this fella, Henry Farfili, but we haven't seen much of him so far tonight. 20 tries, 4 tries in his last 3 games. Wakefield have scored. Here, Huddersfield in control of the match, leading 20 points to 6.
Been impressed with the way that the Giants have kept the ball alive, but their defence has been pretty solid. Okay, they allowed Martin Gleeson through. Chris Nero was just completely confused. But apart from that, it has been really solid.
Oh, what a great take from Lee Greenwood.
Oh, good defence that.
And 13 missed tackles by Warrington in the opening 28.5 minutes. Only 2 for Huddersfield. Paul Cullen will not be impressed with a statistic like that.
Well, it just shows you the difference between the two sides. And again, Huddersfield very quick, play the ball, taking an opportunity to take that short blind side.
Here's Stanley again. Drives it into the chest of Mark Gleeson. Young Gleeson stands his ground. Help from Swan.
Irrespective where Stanley Jean plays in the 3/4. Oh, Nathan Wood nearly had it.
Almost an interception.
Well, they were desperate for that. Just delayed it slightly to Chris Thorman, and it was there for the taking.
Instead of a try under the sticks for Nathan Wood, it's a scrum feed to defend for Huddersfield for the knock-on.
You know, early in the game, I tend to think that any side in the defensive quality out wide especially is starting to go for an interception. Shows you that they've got problems in defence.
Riley from dummy half makes a few yards.
They're sharing the work, you know, the Giants. They're playing very well-drilled rugby league football. Full credit to their coach, John Sharp. He's done exactly that. They're a lot sharper than the last time we saw them on TV.
This is Thorman. Delayed the pass too long. Thought about slipping it to Stuart Jones, who's gone in at dummy half. And Stuart Jones, not a bad man to have off the bench. He's missed the last 5, though. And here now is Brad Drew. And Drew attacking the line. It's a dab to the in-goal area. Oh, they might be in here with Nero.
He is in. No doubt about that.
Prize given. Didn't even need to hand it on to the video referee. And Nero gets the try for Huddersfield. Try number 11 for him. And Warrington's top 3 ambitions are falling apart.
Look at Drew there. He ran nearly 10 metres before he got the kick away. There was no one anywhere near him. Hello? Hello? Anyone at home? No, there ain't. Gross made a big error. He should have gone for that football. He was expecting it to go dead in goal. But Nero, fantastic. And the Australian official, Ashley Klein, was Johnny on the spot. Didn't have to go to the video screen. That's what we like to see.
Nothing wrong with the touchdown. Didn't feel the need to check whether he was onside or not. He obviously got a call from his touchdown.
He did. He looked at both touches and everything was spot on.
Eddie, I don't think it could have been offside, because what you saw Brad Drew do, he ran at the defensive line and he took all his attacking line with him.
And Foreman has added 2 more points. 26 points to 6. As I say, Warrington's top 3 ambitions are falling apart. Huddersfield have got sights on the 6.
There's a finish from Nero. No doubt about it. Look at Ashley Klein. He was up there. Anticipation. That is what officialdom should be. Okay, I criticise them all the time, Eddie, but there are times when you just got to put your hand up. Clarkey, you've got to admit that when referees are fit and as youthful as what we got there from Klein, it makes the game better.
I think Ashley Klein works as hard, if not harder, than some of the players out there, doesn't he? To be the best he can be, and that's all you can ever want, really, with a coach. Just want him to do his best, be as well prepared as possible. You know, I've watched a lot of Huddersfield this year, but I don't think I've ever seen them convert as many chances and opportunities into points and tries as what they've done in the opening 32 minutes of this game. It's been possibly their most impressive opening half all season, Eddie.
And I'm sure that they were encouraged by the scoreline that they achieved against Wakefield last week, John Keir.
Yes, they've played really well against Wakefield, and this opening first 40 minutes has been superb. and I've been very, very impressed with Chris Thorman. He's come up with some very big plays at crucial time, and this right side Huddersfield attack, it's really given nightmares to the Warrington left side defence. Outstanding rugby league.
He's certainly got the brains, this fella, and little doubt in my mind his stint down in Australia last year has helped polish his performances.
Well, if Warrington are looking for hope, this will give them none, because on each of the 7 occasions that Huddersfield have led at half-time this year, they've gone on to win the contest. And at 26-6, you'd get short odds that Huddersfield would be leading at the half-time siren here. But Coe Love has found a hole, and he gets a pass away to Mark Gleeson.
Well, they're desperate for points before they go in for lemons at half-time, and they need to produce something special. We got that from Martin Gleeson, the international centre.
They're going down his channel now with Brent Gross, who finds Gleeson. Here he is. Finds the substitute, takes the return. That was flicked. Oh! Who wanted it? Gleeson or Gross? Or Bridge, rather.
Hesitation, Eddie. They're just not at the races at the moment.
This is Wainwright, good hands with Nathan Wood, but good tackling by James Evans. Toa Coe Love to Mark Gleeson. In it goes to Chris Bridge. A high hanging up and under from Bridge. No problem though for Lee Greenwood.
Ooh, nearly got through as well. Good job that Paul Wood just got to his shoulders.
Well, it's as good a half as Huddersfield have had all year. 26 points to 6.
They've been brilliant.
Stuart Jones gets the ball away to Chris Thorman brilliantly. Here's Stanley Jean. Stanley Jean bounces off Mark Gleeson, changes the direction of the attack. Logan Swan gets to him.
Stuart Jones picked up a knock. He's just had treatment.
March gets the ball away. And Paul Smith gets to his feet. This now is Jackson. Formerly with Castleford and Wakefield, back at his original club is Jackson. And March. Deep kick and finds touch.
Solid play. He's got a solid brain in him as well, this fella. Paul March leads him around the track. I mentioned earlier, Phil Clark, in regards to the ability for the Giants to be sharing the workload. The forwards know exactly where they want to be.
Well, talking about sharing the workload, do you think it's important that they've got 3 players who can accurately kick the ball? March, Thorman and Drew. It means that as the defending side, it's hard to target one player and put pressure on that kick.
Gleeson gets the ball away. Nathan Wood is hauled down by Heffin O'Hare. Mark Gleeson. Wainwright. Martin Gleeson. Good hands. And this is Toa Coe Love. And Thorman coming back and doing a good job in defence. Now young Chris Riley. Big step up from the academy to Super League. Done too much wrong tonight so far, Chris Riley. Made 1 or 2 Warrington Hearts, flutter no doubt, on occasion.
To be fair, Eddie, he's impressed me. But under the cosh of the Warrington outfit, it's not a bad kick either. It's bouncing all over the place. Are they there in numbers?
Well, Heffin O'Hare will run at the line, and Logan Swan gets in the tackle. Good tackle by Danny Lima on Lee Greenwood.
Lost that.
Plays the ball to Riley. Riley gets away from Logan Swan, but he can't get away from Martin Gleeson, and Riley is hurt by the ferocity of that Gleeson challenge. Here's Jackson again.
Yeah, went in very awkward to the fullback Riley. Gleeson just caught him on the hop.
Drew to Thorman. Last tackle here for Huddersfield with March. Kick down the line, and great kick. Well, Phil Clark spot on. There are so many options in the kicking game for the Huddersfield Giants.
Well, we saw there that Chris Thorman took up the football. He was on the last, and then smart work by Paul March. Make sure it went onto the blind side. Irrespective of whether it goes in a touch or whether it goes dead in goal, they know that they've got a good chance of getting their one line of defence sorted out. I've enjoyed watching this guy and his brother.
Just one win in 7 against Warrington. 26-20 at Warrington last season for the Huddersfield Giants. Here is Brent Gross.
Because of the position that Warrington are in, they're forced to really try and attack from a little deep here. Maybe putting on players, pushing the pass inside their own half that they wouldn't probably normally do. If they could only work their way upfield, I'm sure they can score some points. But Huddersfield defence so good, preventing them from a chance of doing it.
Trouble is, though, Phil, is that I'm not so sure that they can. Remember, against St Helens, they wwwere camped on their line for such a long time, and yet they lacked any flair to get through.
But I don't think Huddersfield, despite playing well, are quite up to St Helens standard at the moment. And I think that with players like Gleeson, Wood, Bridge and Coylove, they will find a way over the line if they could spend a few minutes attacking it.
Yeah, also I think the fact is that all Warrington's possession has been bringing the ball out of trouble, which obviously limits the amount of football they play. And when you talk about the kicking game, which has been superb for Huddersfield, Stanley Jean, you know, he always comes up with a nice little kick now and again, so that might be something to watch out for in the second half.
Minute and a bit to go to the half-time siren. Huddersfield in no real hurry to get on with it, but the referee has stopped the clock, so it matters not. But I don't think John Sharp would want the half-time siren to go. I think he'd be quite happy just to turn them straight round and carry on, because this has been as good a first half, I think, as he has seen for a long, long time from his men. Paul Cullen, on the other hand, will be desperate to get at his players.
And John Sharp has been very good as an interchange as well. Again, making it possible to push people out wide. That's been a huge success, hasn't it? Putting Earl Crabtree into the second row.
Riley is tackled on tackle number 3. Drew, a march. Here's Stanley Jean again. Flicks the pass to Riley. We're 30 seconds away from half-time, and Huddersfield in possession with Thorman. And Thorman was nearly through. He's lost it.
That'll be it, though. I don't think we'll get the scrum formed. First error from the captain tonight, Chris Thorman. Just got squeezed out. Looks like they will form it.
Well, Warrington want to get the scrum formed. I wonder whether
Kick and chase.
they can
Kick and chase, that's
anything.
all they've got.
Chris Bridge. Still going, Chris Bridge. Good tackling, though. Well, he chanced his arm. He knew it was on the half-time siren, but great defence for all of that by Lee Greenwood over on that far side. Huddersfield ahead at half-time, the game in their pockets. 26-6, Earl Crabtree with 2 tries, and the Huddersfield supporters absolutely delighted. 5 tries they have run in that first half. 5 tries to just the 1 from Warrington. And Huddersfield, well, their top 6 challenge is gathering momentum. They lead 26-6 at the break. Game going. Maybe the referee is just waiting for his half-time cup of tea to go down.
That first 40 minutes certainly would have impressed the Warrington fans who've come over the Pennines to see the Wolves, who have shown no bite whatsoever. Here come the officials to an ironic cheer.
There's no Ashley Klein, but apparently he's not feeling terribly well at the moment. And he comes out to an ironic cheer from the supporters here, but Ashley Klein not feeling so clever. But he'll try and work it through. They had the doctor to him, I'm told, inside the dressing room during the half-time break. Long break, but it's over now. We're back in business. And Huddersfield kick-off. Bridges underneath the kick-off. And a drive forward here by the Warrington substitute, Paul Wood. They need, it's an obvious thing to say, they need to score first.
Well, they've been to make a break and just had a bit of confusion in the Huddersfield defence apart from that one break by Martin Gleeson, which was sheer quality. They've done exactly what they did against St Helens last week, and they got into a good position but showed no flair.
24-4, St Helens beating Wakefield. Second half started there as well. 26-6 here for the Huddersfield Giants, as Mark Gleeson at dummy half fires the ball to Nathan Wood, who dribbles it along the deck. Oh, and it is a difficult one for Hefin O'Hare to pick up, and it allows the chasers to arrive, and that's a better start for the second half for Warrington.
Eddie, I think that opening minute tells you everything about Paul Cullen's half-time talk. You even saw him demonstrate to the players, go forward down in the middle of the field, let's put some kick, let's try and build some pressure. They don't have to win the game in the first 20 minutes of this second half, but they need to apply some pressure so it drains the energy from the Giants, and they've got a foothold on which to build.
Well, both Paul Cullen and indeed his opposite number, John Sharp, enjoyed the last domestic success, way back in 1991. John Sharp as a member of the Hull side that won the Premiership. Cullen is a Regal Trophy winner with Warrington in that same year. Possession here has turned over for Warrington. This is Chris Bridge.
Well, it was a shocking pass by the loose forward, Stanley Jean. Why he tried to offload in a good position when they've been so good at the kick and chase, the Giants.
And good hands from Nathan Wood. He gets it away to Toa Love. Jean with the tackle and Chris Thorman. And it comes now to Mark Gleeson, who finds Chris Bridge. And Chris Bridge will bring Martin Gleeson into it again. The ball is given then to younger brother Mark. Support arrives, but it's actually a penalty to Warrington because he was tackled. It was Paul Wood without the ball in hand.
Good support play, the best we've seen from Warrington so far. And Gleeson, Mark that is, certainly got the offload away, and no doubt in the mind of the official that it was a penalty. Can they turn it into points?
Well, you can guarantee that Warrington will be trying, but Brent Gross takes tackle number 2. And back it comes now to Mark Gleeson, Chris Bridge. And Chris Bridge, he showed it to Logan Swan, took the tackle himself. Saints stretching the lead against Wakefield. Oh, sloppy pass, but it's turned into a decent ball. And Nathan Wood, scrambling defence, ball comes back. No try, knock on.
Well, they bombed it. They went for glory rather than get the ball out wide. They had the overlap, and I'm afraid that the halfback Nathan Wood has bombed that. They were all over the place with the Huddersfield defence. All it needed was a quick ball to the left, and the skipper for the night, Nathan Wood, took the step and went for the glory.
Well, Brent Gross knocking on with the line at his mercy, 3 metres short. Huddersfield in possession then. Warrington's 5th error of the night. Let's go down to the sideline. Bill, did Paul Cullen peel the paint off the walls?
Apparently the paint is still intact in there, but his smouldering presence is not far away from me on the sidelines here, and he really does look like a thundercloud out there, just trying to really pass on that intensity to his side, because that's what they've been lacking. Certainly what they were lacking early doors when they were cold by Huddersfield. That's the feeling. But there's also the feeling that they're certainly not out of this game, and that if they can continue with this pressure early on in the second half, they can get back into it. They're not to panic. They've looked good going forward. It's the defence that's let them down. So they're not writing themselves off yet. Far from it. Huddersfield Giants, as you expect, very pleased coach John Sharp. More of the same. Keep their composure. Don't force it. More points will come their way, they reckon. Just a word on referee Ashley Klein. He was a bit late coming out for the second half. He has got a chest infection, was feeling a bit under the weather, but he's soldiering on through the pain barrier. Having said that, Richard Silverwood, who is the 4th official on the sidelines, is standing by just in case.
It will be a very busy weekend for Richard Silverwood, because he is our official at Leeds against London tomorrow here on Sky Sports. This is Logan Swan on the chase after his own kick. Greenwood picks it up. And Greenwood off the deck took the gamble, and Paul Riley helped it on to Crabtree. Well, they're playing with immense confidence.
That'll be a penalty.
Stolen.
2 on 1. Lee Greenwood. You see the second man coming in. Wainwright wasn't to know that someone was joining in the party, but boy, that pass really unbelievable. Right on his own try line. Well taken by Paul Riley. Got himself into a good position.
26-60. Well, that is confidence personified.
Is it ever? And I mean, he was under pressure. You know, Chris Bridge was hanging around.
But is it something coaches like to see, John Keir? Passes like that on their own try line.
Well, I think it's a decision that you've got to make, and you've got to trust your players to make the correct one, just as the youngster Riley and Brent Gross did for Warrington in the first half. And I think the decision was proved to be right there by Lee Greenwood. So good play and very confident play, as you've rightly pointed out.
This is Jim Gannon now for Huddersfield. They're grinding their way upfield again. And it's Brad Drew who'll scamper away from dummy half. Oh, and he threw a couple of dummies and Warrington were nearly fooled.
They're hanging back at Warrington. They made 16 tackles in the first half. That's
Good
far
kick.
too many.
Great kick from Stanley Jean.
Oh, he nearly got there. Well, he didn't take the gamble this time, Brent Gross. He got caught out in that first half when Nero got to the ball before him. Stanley Jean, another competent kicker.
And Greenwood was hunting the try. And you're right, Phil, the options for the kickers all over this Huddersfield side on a night like this.
Yeah, I think they've also been helped by the fact that at times they're playing the ball just a fraction of a second quicker than their opponents. That try when Brad Drew kicked through in the first half, a lot of credit's got to be given to Stuart Jones, who managed to get a quick play of the ball, defence going backwards, Steve-O, and it made the kick from Drew easier, albeit still a very skillful play.
And it's another problem that Warrington have in the first and second markers are a little bit confused. They're not working overtime. We saw in that first half that the hooker Brad Drew just controlled things out there. And oh, nearly through. Gleeson just got to him.
A vital tackle from Gleeson, but as he only delayed the inevitable, here is Drew. Great ball inside. Gannon will... Oh, now then. There is a decision to be made here. At normal speed, that looked like bounce ball, but as we know, the camera can make it look so good.
Try
and it
time.
has.
Try time. Good work. And another missed tackle goes on to the count of the Warrington Wolves. It's more hardship. It's to be confirmation of a TRY. It is.
Jim Gannon with the try. Shinned in against Warrington here in June for the third time this year. His third try of the campaign now.
And again, it all came about from a beautiful weighted kick. Gross got there, and from the dropout, the positional play. Oh, superb there. Drew missed out Riley. Gannon running onto it. It's so effective. You know, this guy really controls the game well, does he? Hooker Brad Drew. Doesn't always go into dummy half. You can see him there, it was in the first receiver on that occasion.
And Chris Thorman has added the extra two. And so it is Huddersfield who score first. 32 points to 6 to the Huddersfield Giants. And Chris Thorman winding his men up for a big effort. He doesn't want this to be let slip now. And on the evidence of what we've seen in the opening 48 minutes, it will not be slipped. This is Evans.
They're eager, Eddie. They're really working hard for each other. You talk about, sorry, Phil, you talk about the team spirit. And it seems to have just gone from this Warrington outfit. It's as though they never played with each other for a while.
Eddie, I was just going to talk about the fact that Huddersfield's kicking accuracy has earned them 2 goal line dropouts in this game. They've scored from both of them. That's a pretty impressive record.
You talk about goal line dropouts, you talk about kicking accuracy. I mentioned Lee Breers at half-time. He's having a blinder, he's not there, but boy, are Warrington missing him or what? It's Huddersfield who are in possession with Thorman. There's another intelligent little kick. Well picked up though by Brent Gross. Finished off though by Stanley Jean.
It had to be as well. It was a beautiful kick, wasn't it? Good positioning by Gross. He's the man most likely to perhaps get this Warrington side on the scoreboard yet again. But look at the eagerness of this Giants outfit. This is the best I've seen Huddersfield play all season.
Lightball gets to his feet. Mark Gleeson will have a little run at them, and that's much better. Logan Swan. Here is Nathan Wood. A big kick downfield, right up the middle. But well positioned on that far side by Heffin O'Hare.
And that has also been the difference between the two sides. Every time that Warrington have got boot to ball, it's virtually gone straight down a Huddersfield player's neck. On the other side of the coin, every time that Huddersfield do it, they're hitting ground. They're finding space.
Thorman stopped this time in his tracks by Lightball and Toa Koila. March is there, the dummy half. He finds Earl Crabtree. And he's had the ball stolen again. He's not a happy bunny, Paul Cullen.
Well, there's no right to have a giggle box inside, has he? I'm not so sure that that was taken away. It looked to me as though Crabtree perhaps was trying to offload like Volt. And every picture shows more than the scoring.
Only 5 penalties in this match, though.
Well, there's been little for that, mainly due to the fact that Warrington have been coming back and kicking off.
This is March, and a good weaving run from March. He hands off Mark Gleeson, and eventually they get to him, Gleeson and Paul Noon. Thorman, Riley tried to offload that.
That'll be play on. No, they knew knocked on first. I think it was a Huddersfield player that tried to keep it alive, which is Riley. Yeah, there'll be a knock-on, should be head and feet to Warrington. They certainly need something. You know, in the olden days, I'm not saying that I like to see it, but there are times when you know the opposition have got far too much skill, and that's been shown already, is that you make a little bit tasty for the opposition. Let them lose concentration a bit. I'm not saying start thumping people, but maybe just irritating them.
That's a good ball to Gleeson. From Gleeson rather to Brent Gross. We've got news, I think, coming in of Jim Gannon. Bill.
Yeah, Jim Gannon's try came at some personal cost because he's suffered a thumb injury as he banged that ball down, and he's gone straight off to get that seen to. There is a suspicion he might have dislocated it, but so it was painful but profitable for Jim Gannon. Painful as well for John Clark, who's still on the sidelines for Warrington. He's had 11 stitches in that cut. We saw him get on his brow just above the eye. He is hoping to come back on, as is Mark Hilton as well, who's just warming up on the sidelines, but it might be too late.
Henry Farfeli with the knock-on, 20 tries this season. He's up there leading, or up there near the leading lights of the Super League try-scoring charts, and he will well remember the fact that on a test appearance here for New Zealand, Henry Farfeli ran in 3 tries, or rather it wasn't on this ground, I think it was at Blackburn that year, and it was in 2002, so Farfeli does have the firepower.
Just a lack of concentration there by Chris Thorman. He was very, very lackadaisical there, offloading the ball to the big fellow Wayne McDonald.
What would Warrington give for a try? If they could buy one, they'd spend some of the money they're going to spend on Andrew Johns. Gleeson, light ball. Offside, Huddersfield, had to play the ball.
Well, a quick tap, that's what they want to get on with it.
You'd have to say, out of the next 5 minutes, the 2 decisions, Huddersfield losing possession of that forward pass, and this penalty, is their only chance here now to get back in the game. Here's a window of opportunity to get into this match with a try and a bit of pressure.
I think you're right, Phil. But they've got to apply that pressure and maybe get a consecutive set of 6.
Oh, Logan Swan has gone through them, and Logan Swan gets the try for Warrington that they so desperately needed. Well, is there time? Is there time for Warrington really to come back into a match that has been escaping them from the very first whistle?
But it was a good kick into the corner, then a very quick tap, and for once they've run the angle. Not the best from Chris Nero, and that's the first time that I've seen the angle run by the Warrington outfit. Dummy runner went on the left-hand side, Swan came on the angle on the right, and they produced a TRY.
Logan Swan, can they indeed? 29 caps for New Zealand. He ran in 5 tries in Warrington's 7th match-winning sequence earlier this year. And Chris Briggs now with a very important kick for the Warrington cause. That just might breathe a bit of life into them if he kicks this. But he hasn't.
Well, it was a stab, wasn't it? No real follow-through. Not that there was any great shakes in the goal-kicking department, but he didn't seem to set up that well, did he?
And he had no experts in body language, but when you looked at the Warrington team when they scored that try, it didn't strike you as a side that thought, we're going to come back here and win this game. They didn't all rush the try scorer. They didn't all get back in position quickly. And even maybe the approach that Bridge took to the kick, really, they didn't strike as a team. Here's a chance. Come on, we can do it. There wasn't that confidence really throughout the team.
I know that they have been a little camera shy, as we've mentioned once or twice tonight, but you know, they have won on their last 4 visits to this ground, Warrington.
Well, there's still hope, there's still plenty of time there, but they've got to make sure that they score another try within the next 10 minutes just to put the doubt in. Eddie, you said at half-time, you know, that when they announced that they'd signed Andrew Johns, OK, they were like little boys with a new toy. The trouble is, the toy hasn't arrived yet.
No,
it's only a promise, isn't it?
That's true. He is on the way, though. And we've just seen there that Riley and Stanley Jean have been taken off by John Sharp. Now, that could well be a crucial moment in the match. Phil?
Certainly could. There's a bit of a shuffle around for the Giants, which just could influence things, could affect them a bit, because as we speak, Warrington blow another chance, and the changes that Paul Riley has gone off with what looks like a side strain, and that's meant that Heffin O'Hare has had to move to full back, and Paul White has come on to take O'Hare's place on this right-hand wing. So just a little bit of a reshuffle by the Giants.
Well, it just shows you there, Eddie, that you know, that's the sort of pushing game. Gleeson, not the best pass.
He was claiming that a Giants player touched it as soon as I know maybe it was a plea for help here, but he thought the ball had been touched by a Huddersfield player.
I made the point, Phil, that, you know, there are times in a game when you know the opposition taking you apart. Just slow things down, you know, get them upset. Push, shove, maybe a bit of sledging. The Australians are good at it.
This is Ration for Huddersfield. Now, Crabtree, who is on a hat-trick, remember.
Sheer endeavour from the Huddersfield pack. They'll just work overtime, put themselves in a good position, and then allow Thorman to weave his magic.
That's Paul Smith, who plays the ball to Brad Drew, and Thorman with a kick for a couple to chase. Greenwood's after it. Ooh, and Brent Gross was content this time to let it just trickle its way over the dead ball line. John Sharp. We actually, if you saw our build-up to the start of the match, we actually had a few pictures of John Sharp smiling, which will almost deserve an Oscar.
He doesn't get paid for entertaining people at home, or you or me, Eddie. He just gets paid for getting his side over the finish line at the end of this game.
He's probably just had a verruca removed.
And Mark Gleeson. He probably knows that this game, John, is just entering a critical phase.
It is a very critical phase. Bill spoke about the reshuffle. Well, it's interesting that Chris Thorman and March... Sorry, we're away here, Eddie.
We are with Bridge, and that wall...
Oh, he's blown it.
How many chances are Warrington going to put down?
Well, that was unbelievable. They made the clean break.
Nathan Wood just couldn't take the pass in from Bridge. It was a little bit high, it was up round his ears, but still.
Good defence, though. There was covering across.
John, they rudely interrupted you.
Yeah, well, we've got Chris Thorman now, who's drifted to the left side to run the left side of the attack, and March has gone over to the right. So once again, they're going to ask further questions of this Warrington defence by putting the pivotal ball players in different areas.
Brad Drew and Thorman with a kick all the way down the line. Brent Gross is lumbering after it, catches it on the bounce. Very early kick in the tackle count, that. Thorman misses the tackle on Gross. He's not missed by the next man in.
When you're in this mood, Eddie, you can do things like that. You know, mix and match it, creating confusion in the opposition. They've got to start dropping their wingers back early in the tackle count. But it's been a classic display from Huddersfield. I've been so impressed with the way that Brad Drew, Chris Thorman...
Mark Gleeson on the break. Wood is there this time, and has Wood got the legs to go over? Yes, he has. And Warrington, through Nathan Wood, they blew a chance a few moments ago. Nathan Wood was in support with Mark Gleeson's break, though, and comes up with try number 12 for the campaign for him. And, well, Riley and Jean off the field. Maybe, just maybe.
Good work there by the substitute hooker. I mentioned the fact that they wouldn't miss much when John Clark had to go off and be stitched up. This is good play by Mark Gleeson. He always impresses me, especially when he's sniffing around the dummy half position, and they run well from the play of the ball. Good support from Wood, and he's saying, well, at last we've got it down. We haven't made a meal of that one. we said they had to score very quickly, and they've certainly done that, and they've converted.
And suddenly their supporters are alive again. The drummers out. They're all on their feet. Surely not, John.
Well, there's 16 points in it, and there's a quarter of the game left. So that's 3 tries in a quarter of the game. That is achievable with a team like Warrington. They've got to make sure Huddersfield don't score again, but I'm certain Warrington can score 3 tries within a quarter of a game.
And what about the change of Riley and Jean going off?
Well, whether they were enforced change or not, we don't know, but if they possibly can, I'm sure they'll be re-entering the fray at some stage if they are fit and able.
And the possible hat-trick man, Earl Crabtree, is off the field as well. Well, have Warrington, suddenly, as we approach 19 minutes to go...
Well, it's Vadim to knock on there.
I was going to say, have they got the belief in themselves, and then they go up with a knock-on?
Certainly lost it. Withdrew the arm. And again, another error. And Huddersfield may make them pay here.
Big push at the scrum by the Warrington front row.
The Giants will just go back to basics. Use the big lumbering forwards, get themselves into a good position. They know they've got the quality still out there in Paul March, Chris Thorman in the kicking game.
That's the way. And let's find your arm around him. Let's set it properly. Now hold the weight. Get it in. Out.
Ball comes out eventually. Paul March, Chris Thorman, he's still there, and that's danger for Warrington. Thought about the offload, thought better of it. Gross with the tackle. Now then, can Huddersfield get over the line and finish the Warrington Wolves off? You feel that maybe if they do, the revitalised Warrington Wolves will just lose their momentum. 3 tackles remaining. Drew to Thorman, trying to fox them with a little shimmy and a jink round. That's 4 tackles gone. Drew waits. Schemer in chief at dummy half. Back it comes to March. March gets the ball away. Oh, the tackle not completed on Evans now, it is. That's the last one. A March at dummy half. Back it comes to Drew. There's the kick. And Gleeson and company after that, but it's Bridge who picks it up for Warrington, and the Wolves survive that pressure.
Good thinking there by the stand-off Chris Bridge, it had to be. But again, it was a good build-up by the Huddersfield Giants.
Great defence from Huddersfield there. Gratian and James Evans.
They're swarming, aren't they? And they're super fit. Normally you'd have to say, you know, the big fellas must be running out of steam late in the game. But they're not.
Henry Farfili. Good tackling by Lee Greenwood. Let's get down to the side and Bill.
Eddie, you were just speculating on whether Paul Riley and Stanley Jean were finished for the night. Well, the word from the Huddersfield bench is that they're not. They're both, in fact, Paul Riley is just taking his top off and looks as though he will be able to come back. Of course, both of them have missed games recently, so it might have been that Coach John Sharp was just deciding to give them a bit of a breather, and it looks as though Riley has had his breather anyway.
And Paul White is on, who's a terrific impact player at times off the bench for Huddersfield.
He's got plenty of speed. And they'll be looking for him to take the ball up, maybe run from dummy half.
This is Paul Jackson now. Riley still waiting the nod from John Sharp to return as Thorman carries it forward. That's a great ball to Paul Smith. Brad Drew, the dummy half. Here's Thorman again. He's all over the park tonight, Thorman. And Warrington eventually bring him down on the last.
Will it be the bomb or the 1 point, perhaps? Just to irritate them.
Drew floats it wide to March. March dabs the kick through. Great kick as well.
Oh, it's try.
It is.
Try time. Did he force it?
I think Gratian has got it. Did Chris Riley force it then?
That's what he's got to see first. Certainly got it down okay. No doubt about the Giants player getting the fingertips to it. Has he forced this? Yes, I think he's forced it. Doesn't hit the whitewash. Gratian certainly got it down within the in-goal area. Now then, he's got a deem. Has this been? I think that
He's lost that. I don't think he's grounded that. I think he's lost that. And I think that's a try.
he certainly put his body on it. The slow motion replay. I'm with you, John, on that one. It looks as though at first sight I thought he had it. I think he's happy, the video referee.
Well, Bob Connolly is the video referee, and Huddersfield think they've scored, but they haven't.
Wow. So he's deemed that the youngster that Chris Riley has got to it.
Is it related to him?
Chris Riley.
It dropped
Robert
that
Connolly.
before he got downward pressure on the ball. That was dropped. They lost control of it.
Short goal line drop out, John. No, they go deep.
Well,
They've still got some faith, haven't they, that they can get back into him. They just get possession. That's a pretty good chase too from Warrington there, up to almost the halfway line.
And Wayne McDonald had to stoop a long way down to pick the ball up off the deck. Here is Thorman. And good tackling on Paul Jackson by Logan Swan. Drew. They still have the pressure though to withstand at Warrington. Good ball out the back door by Chris Nero to Lee Greenwood, running laterally across the face of the defence. Hilton got to him. Drew and Jackson for Huddersfield. Mark Gleeson, Chris Lightfold with the tackling. Drew again. And Drew attacking the line. Great ball.
Good defence. Had to be as well. Got down low, did Martin Gleeson, had to be.
And here is the last tackle, and there's the kick option. Bounces up for Chris Bridge. And Chris Bridge taking on Brad Drew. Steps inside him. Bounces away from Heffin O'Hare. And Bridge will hang on, surely. Whoa, and takes a real rough tackle. And he's hurt.
Well, they certainly spun him around. There was no hand underneath. It wasn't a spear tackle. Bridge just slowly but surely plays the ball right over the top. Now,
his head was slammed into the pitch, there's no doubt about that. But
well, it's a throttle tackle, isn't it? That some officials pull them up for it.
This is Toa Love. He's found it wide to Riley. Oh, great tackling. And they've come up with the ball in the shape of Heffin O'Hare.
Well, he took the gamble, but good defence over there. Heffin O'Hare, it looked as though that Chris Riley was going to deem himself a try.
He's given it for the forward pass, never mind the knock on.
Did well though, didn't he?
And John
Paul
Sharp,
White came right across.
well, John Sharp, Steve-O, loves, he says, to coach defence. And he will be, although it's a forward pass, but he will be so impressed
What he got
by
there.
the scramble.
Yeah, Paul White got there, and full credit to him.
Eddie, I don't think that was about the technique of defence. I think that was about an attitude towards defence and a real never say die, body on the line attitude. This is a great break as well.
It is a fantastic break from Chris Nero, and he has got Martin Gleeson on his tail and Henry Farfili, but Nero goes over for his second try, and that should be the game's second match to the Huddersfield Giants.
Well, he just outstripped them. He'd have put the house on that. When Gleeson got into some sort of speed, and Nero just said second gear, third gear, didn't even have to go into overdrive. Full credit to him. That was a wonderful effort. Nero the hero, that is for sure. Poor defence yet again, going far too high. Now he should have got to him here, surely. The Great Britain centre just can't get anywhere near him. Full credit. He knows that the game is well and truly won. This has been an emphatic victory for the Huddersfield side. The Clarendon goals, sadness etched on the face there. They know they have been completely outplayed by a superior outfit. And what a game this fella's had.
And what a try from Chris Nero. Tries now in each of the last 4 games for him. He's only missed one this year against Warrington in June. And Thorman rubs a bit of salt in. 38 points to 16.
It's amazing. The transformation. 6 or 7 weeks ago, they were going through the horrors with this side, and full credit to the players and their coach and the coaching staff. Sharp really has dug deep. He kept faith with them, Phil, and they have repaid him tenfold.
We've often used the word workmanlike, haven't we? We've talked about Giants, whether they were winning or losing, but that try was world class. Not only could Martin Gleeson not catch him, but a New Zealand Test winger, Henry Farfili, couldn't get near him. And I'll tell you what, if you want to have a chance of doing something in the playoffs, you need a couple of players who've got that world-class ability, can score from anywhere on the field. And Chris Nero, Huddersfield have proved they've got one.
Yes, they have. He's 24 years of age. Chris Nero, and he is a match winner. Here is Ben Westwood for Warrington.
Good scrambling in plain there by Huddersfield.
O'Hare did enough.
They got there in numbers, Eddie, just to stop the pass.
Wood to Wainwright to Brent Gross to Toa Love, and Toa Love is held up short on the last tackle by this wonderful Huddersfield defence. Back it comes on the bounce to Nathan Wood again, and a crossfield kick looking for Henry Farfili. Too long.
Just about sums it up, and so does his expression. It is what they often refer to as a pretty poor day at the office.
Wakefield have had one of those at St Helens. 48-4. MacDonald driving the ball forward again. Good job that Westwood got hold of him.
Well, I don't know whether MacDonald's actually picked up a watch over the period that we've been giving one away for the man of the match, but he certainly has got to be in the frame. He has had a superb game.
I think it might belong to Chris Thorman, the way things are going here, but we'll see. It's not our choice, it's not our shout. I'm very pleased to say. This is Stuart Jones. What a pass to Brad Drew. And Drew, it's going to be one of the truckles of the season from Brent Gross. Thorman. Off it goes to Crabtree. He's after a hat-trick.
Hasn't got it.
He's held up. Well, that would have been one heck of a try from Huddersfield had Drew not been halted.
Well, it's all smiles. He thought he'd got him for the hat-trick. But don't worry, Mr. Crabtree, that doesn't necessarily mean you win the watch just because you get a hat-trick. We've seen them done before and they haven't got it.
Last tackle here. Last tackle. The ball finds its way over the dead ball line, courtesy of Chris Riley's hands. John Sharp, his team winning 38-16. Well, he's emotionless. Inside, he will be delighted.
Of course he will.
He doesn't show much, does he? It's like he's got the curtains drawn in the bedroom.
Beg your pardon. Maybe I should look into his eyes a little bit more.
Drew is after this. They went for a short goal line dropout. Warrington have gone for a couple of short kick-offs. Why did they do that when the scoreline is 38-16 against them? This is Thorman, and Thorman with a kick for Nero and for Greenwood.
Just too long.
On the ball.
They knew the other numbers. It was worth a try. Wonderful thinking by Chris Thorman. He's engineered a lot throughout this game. And Greenwood thought another foot on the inside, he would have been in for a four-pointer.
Great performance from Huddersfield, John.
It's been an outstanding performance, Eddie, and Steve-O keeps talking about the tick-tock. Well, for me, there's only one guy who'll get that, and that's Chris Thorman. I think Chris Thorman has just dictated the tempo of the game. The tactical side of the game has been absolutely outstanding.
Go back to 6.
Back to 6 it is. Referee wipes the tackle count down. Toa Love. Warrington. St Helens 54-4. Minute to go. Well, they're back on top of the table. And Leeds, they have it all to do tomorrow against the London Broncos on Sky Sports to get it back.
Now then, a bit of pride, that's what's needed from this Warrington outfit. There's no chance they can win this game, and they know it, but they've got to try to prove to themselves that they can play as a unit. But they've just been battered by the big fellas. Huddersfield have been superb.
Chris Bridge, ball back on the inside. It was nearly nicked then by Paul Jackson. Westwood managed to hang on. Gleeson, Lima back to Nathan Wood. Flick pass to Mark Gleeson. It's play on, says the referee. Here is Ben Westwood. And still play on, but he got the ball away. And here comes Stanley. Here comes Stanley Dean. Brent Gross gets to him.
I was looking forward to the 31-year-old making the break.
Here's Paul White. 6 minutes to go here. Huddersfield, their assault on the top 6 begins. And Warrington Where will they be when Andrew Johns gets off the plane in 3 weeks' time?
What about the game when London take on Huddersfield? That could be the clincher for the 6th position.
Could be the 6th place decider. Forward pass, you're right. It's down at Griffin Park, Brentford on the 3rd of September.
Don't miss that one. Well, he was a little bit cheeky. And Greenwood was well and truly about a metre and a half in front. But as John Keir has mentioned,
60 points to 4. St Helens have beaten Wakefield.
Getting back to that point, Chris Thorman, it has been a superb effort from him. And they've done a good job, you know, in the defensive qualities. You look through that, you know, Martin Gleeson, Toa Koilov, we're talking top quality international stars here. They've had very little opportunity to show.
This is Danny Lima for Warrington. It's been a sensational show from Huddersfield. Really has. Has it been the best of the season, John, do you think?
I would say so, yeah. I thought it'd be a very tight game. I thought Huddersfield had every chance of winning, but no way did I feel it would be as comprehensive as they've totally outplayed this Warrington outfit with a real good 80 minutes performance of rugby league.
Mark Gleeson. Here comes Chris Bridge, and Chris Bridge has seen a hole, and Chris Bridge will score for Warrington. So Chris Bridge gives the scoreline a little bit of respectability.
Well, maybe the coach, Paul Cullen, will be just having a word in the ear of this little fella and just saying, we would have liked that early in the match.
It's probably fatigue as well.
It makes no difference. Take nothing away from him. There's a nice step. He has the ability, this kid. We mentioned before the start of the game that he was going to be instrumental if he played very well. Then Chris Bridge had to play well. He's come up with a 4-pointer to no avail. And it has really just thrown the top 3 into total confusion and the last place in the playoff.
Well, London are at Leeds Saturday night here on Sky Sports. Challenge thrown down to them now. Bridge will add the extras for Warrington. At the end of the day, I suppose points difference might well play its part. Let's go down to Dave Hatfield. Is it Chris Thorman, Dave?
Well, we've been impressed with the whole series of Huddersfield players. Earl Crabtree very unlucky not to have a hat-trick. Chris Nero's been good as well. Thorman's come very close to winning, but the man we've gone for, he's scored 1 try, he's created 3. He's tormented Warrington with his kicking and he's bossed the show around dummy half. Brad Drew is our man of the match tonight.
Good on you, David. You do like the hookers. That is for sure, but take nothing away. Drew has been extremely good tonight. He's controlled things round that dummy half, and his combination with his skipper Chris Thorman, as I mentioned, Earl Crabtree, he certainly deserved to get a watch as well.
Maybe
you can only give one.
You only can give one, or they can only give one. Maybe Chris Thorman's had enough, they think.
And if this is Huddersfield's best performance of the season, the question now remains, with 4 games to go, Leigh, London, Bradford and Wigan, can they reproduce it? They probably need to win 3 of the remaining 4 games to have a chance at the playoffs. It's maintaining this sort of consistency and this precision, really, when they've had a chance to score, will determine whether they do feature in the playoffs or not.
You would say they would beat Leigh.
I would, and then the 3 games, London, Bradford and Wigan. So they need 2 wins probably
London,
out of those 3.
They've got to go to London and win then.
Yeah, that's a 4-point game because of the competition with London, of course, for that playoff spot.
But mind you, let us not forget
Wigan.
Huddersfield have already beaten Wigan twice this year. Where is it, Phil? Home or away?
It's actually home for Huddersfield. Wigan have to come here to the Galfarm Stadium.
Well, there you go.
That's a vital game as well.
We might be seeing a bit more of Huddersfield then.
Well, I certainly will not complain with quality that has been displayed tonight.
Certainly been one of their most impressive performances. There's no doubt about that.
Come on, Ben. Come on, let's
Paul White, Thorman, Stanley Jean. He's not finished yet. Gets the ball away to Paul March. He's had a big match too. And here now is Paul Smith.
The offloads from Huddersfield is probably the most they've had throughout the entire season.
That's a great kick again from March, but just too deep.
Now then, will they give the youngster Chris Riley a run? Oh, he wanted it.
He's got it.
But he got it standing still. He was looking for it to come onto the burst. He'll learn from this, Chris Riley.
I don't think he's let them down.
Has he ever? He's done well. They pinpointed him, they knew they would. But he can stand proud. Okay, he's not on the winning side, but he'll learn from this. Let's play on.
It is.
Oh, well, surely that was knocked on deliberately. Or should I say knocked out?
By McDonald, do you think? Well, the referee saw it another way. I think that will do, because this scrum will take an eternity to form.
Well,
No, it was a knock-on.
Well, it certainly appeared to me that McDonald deliberately knocked that ball away. To no avail, it doesn't matter. The Giants, we keep saying it, Eddie. When will the fans come and give them great support? They want more, and with play like this, they deserve it.
Stanley Jean with a flick over the top, picked up by Henry Farfili. This ball will go dead. It will be the last tackle of the match. And Huddersfield have won by 38 points to 22. Warrington's agony goes on, but Huddersfield, that's 2 wins on the bounce now. They're breathing down the necks of the London Broncos in 6th place. London at Leeds on Saturday. And they know they must beat the champions on their own soil to maintain the 4-point advantage that they had going into this weekend. Warrington, well, they've opened the door again for Hull. But Huddersfield, are they timing their run to perfection? Give us a smile, John. Your team deserve it. The new season on 8 points to 22. We're going to hear from John Sharp in a moment. First of all, though, the man of the match, try scorer Brad Drew. He's won the Tissot watch.
Brad, congratulations on a man of the match performance. That's a terrific reception and a performance that deserved it, I think.
Yeah, I think so. We've been, last 2 weeks we've really trained well, and we're building up as if they're semi-final games for us, which they are. They're sudden death games for us now, and I think the way we're playing and our attitude showing that we're desperate and we want to make the semis.
Well, do you think that's still on the cards? You've certainly done yourselves a power of good tonight.
I think the way we're playing, we're leaving it in the destiny of sort of London to keep winning. We just got to keep winning, and hopefully they make a mistake, and we're just concentrating on us, making sure we get our wins to put the pressure on London.
Well done tonight, Brad.
Thanks very much, Carl.
And the coach John Sharp's here as well. The commentary box view was that's probably the best 80 minutes you've put in for a long time, maybe all season. Is that fair?
Not sure about that. I think every game has its own merits and its downfalls there. I thought we were pretty good today, though.
You were saying that what possibly took the shine off it for you was just conceding 1 or 2 tries late on.
Yeah, a bit of, well, not mental shutdown, but I'd like to think we could be a little bit hard-nosed at the back end of games.
But certainly great going forward.
Yeah, we're adventurous with the ball, we challenged teams, but we defended against a very good attacking side today, and I thought defensively we were very good.
Thanks, John.
Cheers.
Well done to John Sharp, one happy coach, and I just wonder, well, there we are, the brains trust, the conference begins. Where do we go from here? Lee Breers out of the side for another week. Due back next week against Widnes, talking to his coach Paul Cullen. Shake of the head, can't believe what's happened to them. Paul Cullen, conference finished, he's on his way to the dressing room. What did the results tonight?